All right, sitting on my quad solo. It's in the evening, Sunday evening. I'm gonna switch the camera on. It's my iPhone, okay? And I don't know if you can see the scene, but check out those wild swans down there. There's a beaver dam below them. I mean, a beaver house. It's pretty cool. Northern, little secluded lake, eh? Pretty cool. Sun's going down. Covered in mud. Everything covered in mud. Need a shower. But we got it. We got an elk done today, which is pretty cool. And I understand there's a handful of people out there have some misconceptions about what's going on out here. Some people accuse us of hunting to put heads on the wall or something like that. And just so you know, side note, not that it really matters much to me what anybody thinks or not, but just so if anybody's really truly curious, there's 3 of us together. One more guy's coming up, and 100% of everybody's motivation is to get healthy table fare in the freezer, and that's what we're doing. So this one elk that we harvested today, that is directly going to feed, that elk I think is going to feed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people this year, and we got 2 more left to go, and definitely nothing gets wasted, okay? This isn't about putting heads on the wall. My nickname is actually the Raven because I picked that carcass clean of everything we can that we can utilize and sustain ourselves for the rest of the year and be healthy, and there you go. Now I asked my buddy if he wanted to do a video with me. See, I'm just using my iPhone right now, obviously, because I can't do any editing or anything, but I always have this camera right here in my pocket. It's one of my cameras. It's an easy one. It's high quality. Sony's got films in 4K. It stays in my pocket at all times. That's why I end up filming all these little critters and stuff. Like I filmed this cool little animal that went bouncing across the road here. I don't know, half an hour ago. Something. I snuck up on him. I filmed him, and there's like 15 ravens over there doing something. Something must be dead. Maybe. There's no shortage of wolves around here. So, anyways, I asked my buddy if he wanted to do a video with me to describe everything that happened the other day, what he saw. He wasn't big on it. He's not into the video camera or the try to check out which side of the phone to look at here. Where's the lens? I think it's right there. So he's not big on being on a video, which is fine by me. I mean, you'll see his face in the video when he videotaped where some being blew a gasket and snapped a lot of those trees in half. That was really something else. And it's kind of funny, I'll make mention, my buddy, he's more nervous about that, or he doesn't want to go back there where those trees were snapped off. I'm like, so the trees getting wailed on over back in there, that doesn't concern you more? Because that's basically where the dude is. It's like, well, no, not so much, because as he says, just a couple of wood knocking on trees, but he said that other area really intimidated him, freaked him out. Fair enough. One note about what's really odd about that morning, what we do is we take a quad through this old trapper trail in the forest. A tiny little quad trail, and take it in the dark. And I try to get to this spot in big timber in the dark. At least, I try to get there at least half an hour before it starts to get seeing light. And you stand there dead silent, have your coffee, and you stand and you listen. You see if any bull elk are screaming. And as it slowly gets light out, then you start to go on foot and do your hunt. So what we typically do is we go, and this is where I went by myself and got that elk last year, exact same thing, exact same movements, exact same area, but I come up here by myself and camped and harvested that elk right there. So we walk through this meadow and you start hunting. And you get to this intersection of an old logging road, T. It's all covered in brown grass and stuff. It's not used anymore. And then we hang out there for a bit. And once I'm confident there's no elk at that end of that block, then I got Gavin to stay at that intersection. And then I hiked back to the quad to go retrieve the cod from back in the big timber. And he said that the blasting on the trees came from where I was. I was a little confused on his direction because he said he pointed over there, which was pointing to a 45 degree from the line from me to the quad. He pointed that way, I thought. I got back to him. And he says, no. He said, it came from where you and the quad were. And he said he actually thought it was me banging on the quad or wasn't working or it blew up or something. I'm like, what? It came from where I was. He says, yeah. And I go, how loud do you think it was? And he said, it was freaking loud. He said it went bang, bang, bang on the tree. And he sounded like it was a powerful sledgehammer. And then I knew he was going to say two hits. I knew there was the number 2 because there's 2 of us. And Scott Carpenter and a few other people have figured out that these things count us. And let me put this thing down. And they're counting us with the number of cracks in the tree. And there's a few incidences of that have had the past enough time to tell about it around. But I just knew he was going to say it, and then it happened 2 more times. And I go, so it was like it hit the tree 2 more times, solo, separate from the other whaps. And he goes, yeah. And I go, how do you think you could duplicate that sound that you heard? He says, you couldn't. He says, no human being's that strong. He said it was so loud, it was unbelievable. And it just sounded like a powerful, powerful sledgehammer hitting the side of the tree. And, you know, he's trying to make sense of it. I don't need to. I know what it was. But what's odd is I did not hear a thing, and it came from exactly where I was. How's that for bizarre? Could it be because I was on the quad with the motor running? Possibly because I asked him, I said, well, how long after you heard it did I show up? And he goes, I could hear you coming like 5 minutes after. I'm like, well, it only takes 5 minutes for me to take my quad from where I left in the timber to him. So that's a little strange, isn't it? But whatever. So then we carried on and went all the way to the other end of the block, and that's where we found my trail camera completely spun all the way around the tree to face the other tree that was about 1 foot away, 2 feet away from it. And I put my cameras, when I put my trail cameras on a tree, I'll pretend it's a trail camera. I put it against the tree, and here's the top of the camera, and then I wedge a stick in between the camera and the tree to angle it down, because I always put my cameras above human height on average, because I want humans to see them and steal them. Nobody's where we are anyway, where we went. So, and you can tell on the soft mud in the trail, nobody had been in there since us. And it's approximately, I don't know, it might be 4 or 5 miles on the quad to get to that spot. Excuse me. And the camera was spun perfectly to face the other tree next to it, away from the trail. And the stick was still behind it perfectly. And there was 4 videos on it. And meanwhile, that camera's brand new. It's a brand of camera that I have absolute faith in. I've never had a problem before. And I had brand new batteries in it. And that camera should last at least 3 or 4 months. And I always set them on video for 15-second videos with 10-second pauses. So there was 2 or 3 videos of us in front of the camera when I was setting it. And then there was a moose that ran by. And then that was it. It didn't trigger when it was spun. And all the brand new batteries were dead. Very odd, whatever. So I brought that camera back to camp, put new batteries in it, and it's still operating fine again. And the batteries aren't getting sucked dry, and it's working. So there you go. I'll share that with you. And then what else? So then we went on a big hike through the timber, through some swamps, big timber. And then we were coming back through the timber on a blind line, which means I'd never been through there before. We're just going by the compass to get back to where that original trail was, to get us back to the quad. And that's when we came across, all of a sudden, here's this big patch of demolished trees. Average height was our head height, and not a mark on the bark from teeth or antlers. And I actually videotaped a big elk rub and a big moose rub to show you the blatant difference when a set of antlers does it. And bear, no, it didn't happen. There's no claw marks, no teeth marks, no nothing, just clean breaks. And it was something else. It doesn't really freak me out, but my buddy Gavin, he's got a degree in psychology. He's a very A-type guy. He grew up in Belfast. Not much scares this guy. So that really got to him. He didn't like that very much, still doesn't. And we have to go back there tomorrow because I moved another camera, and I set up another camera only about 200 yards away from that spot. And of course, we've nicknamed that area Sasquatch Corner now. And we have another fellow with us, very A-type guy. Neither one of these guys I want to mess with. And he doesn't want anything to do with it. He says, nope. He says, I thought about it. He said to me all the times that he's bugged me to go to these places near home where we live, Pemberton, Whistler, Squamish. He always wants to go and look for them. And I'm like, why would you want to do that? It's dumb. Why would you want to do that? Nothing good comes from it, and they just want to be left alone, and I want to be left alone. But people need to be brought to awareness about what the hell's going on out here, right? I've said it a million times. And he said that after he saw my reaction, Gavin's reaction yesterday about that, he said he's changed his mind and he doesn't want. He goes, I don't need to see one of these things. He says, I trust you guys in my life, and he says, by your reaction and the seriousness of it, he said he doesn't need to go in there. And I said, well, we got to go in there tomorrow. I'll take you in there. I'll show you all the snapped off trees if you want. And he's like, no, I'm good at the video. There you go. So that is what that is. Yeah, I videotaped the whole 9 yards, and I'll show it to you. We got to go in there tomorrow. I'm just going to keep doing it. I don't care. What do you do, right? We'll go in there tomorrow, do the same routine, get there in the dark, shut the quad off, we hang out, have our coffee, and listen. And then we hike out and hunt it properly. Then I'm going to retrieve that camera, and then we're going to leave. And then we're going to go farther north and more remote into the Rocky Mountains and continue this hunt until we're successful and get it all done. And but that's it. That's all I can report now, because I can only use my iPhone, and hopefully I'll get enough service here somewhere, and I can possibly post this up and share with everybody. But other than that, I won't be able to do much until I get back to show you what you're really curious about. And it's funny, you know, I don't read the comments. Sarah does, a couple of my friends do, and they always tell me how many good things are being said, and I do feel like a bit of a dick for not reading because of that fact alone. But so I can say to everybody out there is thank you so much for all the kind words that you have. I totally appreciate it. I apologize. I just absolutely apologize that I can't read them all. I don't read them, and I can't reply to you, okay? I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And I notice sometimes when you do get read comments on any social media, and you'll see people that just want to blow a gasket and get angry and make angry posts. And I mean, what's the average video go? Or the average comment section goes, what, 10, 15 comments? The next thing you know, people are going at each other's throats. And you just gotta, if you are one of those people that do that, you just gotta take a step back and think about what you're doing. Because it does not matter what you put in text on a video comment section anywhere on the planet. Nothing's going to matter. It's not going to make a difference. All right? You're going to try to hurt somebody's feelings. Why? What for? That just sucks energy out of your soul, man. Then you got to replace it. You want to try to just have each other's back, support each other, be kind, and just ignore the dirtbags. I catch them when I can, and they get deleted and blocked forever, okay? Obviously, we got our dedicated haters. I think there's only 30 or 40 of them. They're dedicated. And it's kind of funny. You know, sometimes people comment that I'm mad all the time and angry all the time, which is kind of far from the truth, because if you've known me or hung out and spent time with me, it's usually comedy hour. It's comedy hour 9 out of 10 times, 3/4 each day. And yeah, I can get fairly passionate when it comes to this topic, because like I told everybody before, I am motivated because of all the people's lives who are getting trashed because they're lied to and not honestly informed about this shit that's going on. That makes me angry. That doesn't mean I run around being angry at life. Okay, I have a great life. I'm very appreciative. I have a great circle of straight up, good, solid, honest people around me. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm not an angry person, but yes, I am a fighter. I can't help it. I am. There's many of us out there. You can't get out of it. So when you see a douchebag, you want to go grab him. You want to throttle him. You want to stick up for the people that can't stick up for themselves. You want to right the wrongs. All those people that have been used and humiliated by some of these Sasquatch groups, specifically the top leaders, you want to kick the shit out of them. Yeah, that's the way we speak up here. Sorry. I'm not sorry. That's just the way men speak sometimes. And here I go starting to get ready to go on a bit of a rant when I get on that topic. You see, my demeanor starts to change when I start thinking about all this shit that's going on, and it makes me angry. But anyways, I've got that point across numerous times already. But anyway, do you guys remember that guy? I think he's from Indiana, ex-forces guy, veteran, and he came camping up here with his dog, and he was in his van, and he had a very absolutely massive, terrifying being come out behind the trail in his van. I think it rocked his van, stared in the window at him, glowing eyes, the whole 9 yards, intimidated the living shit out of him, and he was messed right up. And then a few months later, he emailed me back and said, thank you so much. He started to go out in the woods again. Well, that, as the crow flies, is just straight down this timberline where he was, where he had that incident. Now, from where I am sitting right now, that was probably, I'll bet you that was about 9 miles to my west where he had that incident happen. Let's see the cameras doing the auto exposure. So, and there's numerous incidents of weird things going on in this country around me here right now. It just is what it is. Does it make me nervous? Nervous, yes. Of course it makes me nervous. Who wouldn't be nervous? How do you deal with it? I don't know. I can't really explain it thoroughly yet. I know a lot of people out there, you want me to help you get back what you've lost from the outdoors. I don't know. I don't know what happens because, sometimes I'll be at home. I get more freaked out at home and I think about where I go and what I do. But I find that when I'm in that big, deep, dark timber by myself in the middle of nowhere, I have a sense of calmness. I'm very focused and I feel very, very comfortable. I can even lay on the ground and fall asleep. I don't understand it. Well, I guess I don't fully not understand it. It's not a mystery. It's been that way for a long time. But I keep the thoughts in my mind. I'm not here to harm anyone. I'm not here to do anything bad. Just leave me alone. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't need to expose you or share your location with anybody to bring any harm to you. Don't do it to me. All right? And that's what I do. Seems to work somewhat. I don't know, but whoever broke those trees off was pissed off. It wasn't meant for us because it wasn't fresh. By the looks of those breaks, those trees were broken off. I'll bet you, I don't know, it could have been a week ago, maybe. But whatever did that was pissed off. That wasn't done out of happiness. You could just tell. It's really one of the things that stood out for me on that topic was one of the trees is like, I can't probably the size of your forearm or your ankle or your calf. I don't know. I'd have to measure it. But that sucker was broken 3 times. The top was broken off. And then about 4 feet down, it was snapped in half again, but it was still just hanging there by a thread. And the very bottom of it was absolute mash, like it went and twisted it. But it's still standing up. There's enough fiber left to keep it standing, but you could just grab it with your fingers and go like this. I almost want to cut that sucker off at ground level and take it home because it's amazing. I would almost like to take another branch of that tree of that species and see if somebody could somehow do a test where you could snap it off and what kind of poundage that would take because it's a hell of a lot, man. It's pretty cool. I'll show you that video later. But anyway, starting to lose light. I got to go back to camp, somewhere at camp, and get ready to go pluck my buddies out from their big timber hike in the when it gets dark out and pick them up and get it back to camp. And we're going to have some of those tenderloins off that elk night in the fire. And there you go. So what am I doing now? I'm going to try to hopefully find a big bull elk for myself and Gavin. It's a first-time hunter. It'd be very exciting if I could get a monster bull to come in and try to attack him. And then after that, if I do, or I may not get a bull elk. And if I don't, I'm going to moose are open for bows here. It wouldn't be too hard to get a bull moose right now. They're running around like mice. I'm calling them in daily. I might harvest one with my bow and arrow, and then eventually head her home and get on with things. But anyway, don't forget, you can email me in if you need to share something through me, with me. You can email me at sharemystoryhowtohunt.com or tellmystoryhowtohunt.com, and we'll get to it eventually. There's lots coming in, that's for sure. It never ends. It never ends. So anyway, there you go. Be safe out there, everyone, and thanks again for all the kind words. I have the exact same kind words back for every single one of you. All right. See you later. Oh, here, I'll give you one more glimpse of the lake. I don't know if I can zoom in. No, I can't zoom in on that. There was like 8 or 9 of those swans in this lake the other day. It looked really, really cool. They're pretty cool animals. They're really big. Anyway, there you go, everybody.